Hello, and welcome to Raising Hearts for Christ, where we explore practical biblical parenting strategies. I'm Lisa Holsinger, and I'm so glad you're here. Today we're talking about something every parent has struggled with at one point or another: discipline. And I'm not talking about consequences or laying down the law. I'm talking about a kind of discipline that is rooted in love, consistency, and guidance. A discipline that builds our children's hearts. Let me ask you, have you ever felt like a broken record, repeating yourself 100 times before your child finally, maybe, does what you've asked? Maybe it's getting shoes on in the morning, or brushing teeth at bedtime, or finishing their homework without a battle. We've all been there. And if you've wondered how to break free from that cycle, today's episode is for you. We're diving into two powerful parenting tools: Firmness and the instructional routine. These tools aren't about being harsh or controlling. They're about teaching, training, and guiding our children in a way that reflects God's love and order. Let's start by asking, what does firmness actually mean in parenting? When some people hear the word firm, they might picture a stern parent wagging their finger or handing out punishment after punishment. But firmness at its core isn't about being harsh. It's about being clear, consistent, and calm, setting boundaries that are rooted in love. Firmness isn't just about correcting behavior. It's about shaping character. It's like leaning on a strong railing for support. Just as a railing guides and protects, firmness provides structure and direction for our children. But here's the thing. Firmness works best when it's balanced with a loving relationship. Relationship softens the heart, while firmness strengthens character. Kids can only handle as much pressure as the relationship allows. When they know they're loved deeply, they become more receptive to boundaries we set. Consistency is key here. Firmness isn't about yelling or being angry. It's about being steady. When you give instructions, use a calm and steady tone. If you tend to raise your voice when things escalate, focus on keeping your tone neutral and matter-of-fact. This consistency helps your child see that you mean what you say without the need for yelling. So firmness gives us the structure we need to guide our children, but it's not enough on its own. Without a plan, even the firmest boundaries can feel frustrating for both you and your child. That's where the instructional routine comes in. It's like a roadmap that makes it clear where you're going and how we're going to get there. This routine doesn't just help kids follow instructions. It's a tool for teaching life skills like responsibility and perseverance. And let me tell you, it's simpler than you think. Let's dive into how it works. The instructional routine is a game changer. It is a simple, structured way to teach your child how to listen, follow through, and take responsibility. And the best part, it's easy to remember and implement, but it does take practice. Let me break it down for you. There are 3 steps in the instructional routine. The first step, come when called. This teaches responsiveness. When you call your child's name, they learn to pause what they're doing and say, "Yes, Mom," or "Yes, Dad." But here's an important tip. Make sure you're close to your child when you call them. Don't yell across the room or from another room. Walking over and being near them creates a sense of connection and adds urgency to the request. The second step, do the task. This builds perseverance and thoughtfulness. You give them clear instructions like, "Emma, I need you to pick up the blocks and put them in the bin now." The word "now" is key. It helps your child understand that this isn't a task for sometime later, but it's something to be done immediately. And the third step is report back. This step instills accountability. After they finish, they come to you and say, "I'm done." At that point, you inspect the task together. If they've done it well, you affirm their effort. If something needs to be adjusted, you gently correct them and encourage them to try again. But here's a critical final step. Once they've done the task and you've inspected it, release them with affirmation. This is a powerful moment for your child. It lets them know the job is complete and they're free to move on. It's the same feeling you get when you check off the last item on your to-do list. It's satisfying and builds confidence. Now let's talk about how the instructional routine looks for kids at different ages. You know, what works for a toddler might not work for a teenager, and that's okay. The beauty of this routine is that it is flexible. It grows with your child. For little ones, toddlers and preschoolers, I like to keep things super simple. Imagine you've got a 3-year-old who's just finished playing with blocks. Instead of saying, "Clean up your toys," try breaking it down. Put the blocks in the bin now. Use gestures, point to the bin, or even model what you want them to do. And don't forget to cheer them on when they get it right. You could say, "You did it. You put all the blocks away. Great job listening." And it might seem small, but those moments of encouragement build confidence. Now, for elementary age kids, you can step it up a bit. This age group thrives on responsibility, so give them tasks that involved a little more ownership. Let's say it's after dinner. You might ask them to clear the dishes and wipe the table. When they're done, they come back to you and you check their work. I love saying something like, "I see you remembered to wipe the crumbs off the table. That's exactly what I was hoping for. Thanks for doing a thorough job." These little affirmations go a long way. And then there are the tweens and teens. This can be a tricky stage, right? They crave independence but still need structure. With them, I try to make it feel like a partnership. For example, let's say your teen has been leaving their laundry everywhere. You could say, "I've noticed your clothes aren't making it to the hamper. Let's figure out a system so it doesn't keep happening. What do you think would work?" Also, adding a little humor could help too. Maybe something like, "Or should we start a new trend of floor fashion?" The goal is to guide them while respecting their growing independence. Let's be honest, resistance is going to happen. It's just a part of parenting. But how we handle it can make all the difference. I've found that staying calm and consistent is key, even when it's hard. For younger kids, resistance often looks like tantrums or stubbornness. Let's say you've asked your preschooler to pick up their toys, and instead they throw themselves on the floor. Sound familiar? Here's what you can do. Stay calm, get down to their level, and make eye contact. Say something like, "I need you to pick up the blocks now." If they're still upset, don't engage in the power struggle. Just calmly remind them, "You can sit here until you're ready to help. It might take a little time, but your patience will pay off." Now, older kids have their own style of resistance, like talking back or just flat out ignoring you. Here's an example. You've asked your 10-year-old to clear their dishes, and they respond with, "Why do I always have to do everything?" Instead of getting drawn into the argument, try saying, "We're not moving on until this task is done. Let's try again." And then follow through. If they still resist, there might need to be a consequence, but keep your focus on teaching rather than punishing. You could add, "It's not about who does what, it's about being part of the family team." Then there are those bigger patterns of defiance. Maybe your child consistently argues or seems to have a bad attitude about everything. That's a little deeper, and it's often tied to hard issues like entitlement or frustration. In those moments, I recommend having a heart-to-heart. Ask them, "What's making this task hard for you?" and really listen to their answer. Sometimes you'll uncover something you didn't expect, like feeling overwhelmed or unheard. Address those feelings with grace and keep the dialogue open. At the end of the day, resistance is an opportunity to grow together. It's not about winning a battle. It's about guiding their hearts toward responsiveness and respect. As you can see, handling resistance doesn't have to feel like a constant battle. It's about staying calm, listening when necessary, and guiding your child with firm but loving boundaries. The more consistent you are, the more these moments of resistance can become opportunities for growth for both of you. Now, I know this sounds good in theory, but what about those moments when we feel like nothing is working? Let's talk about how to stay encouraged and motivated, even on tough days, as we wrap up. Parenting isn't easy, and the instructional routine won't transform everything overnight. But here's the good news. Progress matters more than perfection. Every small step you take to build consistency, practice routines, and stay firm with love is laying a foundation for your child's character and your family's peace. And you don't have to do this alone. If you have questions or need more guidance, I'd love to hear from you. Visit my website at scriptureguidedparenting.com or email me at podcast@scriptureguidedparenting.com. Your parenting journey matters, and I'm here to help support you along the way. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Don't forget to subscribe to Raising Hearts for Christ on your favorite podcast platform and share this episode with friends who might need encouragement. Remember, train, trust, transform. Let's do this together. Until next time, take care and God bless.